Are you seeing my slides?
It's perfect.
Perfect. So this is where I am. It's nighttime here, but the Champalimaud Foundation is the second largest biomedical research foundation in continental Europe, and it currently has a very strong clinical care and research program in both cancer and neuroscience. Before it established itself and it built this hospital and research institute, even before that, it analyzed what were some of the major healthcare problems in the world that did not have enough support and where we could maximize our impact. So also following the words of Dr. Carvalho here, the foundation starts in 2005. And what came up was blindness. As we know, about 90% of the world's blind are in low and middle income countries, in developing regions of the world. And about 80% of these are either completely treatable or preventable. Yet it does not happen, with consequences not just for individuals, but for families and for society overall. Human consequences, economic consequences. And so the foundation decided to organize this award. Every year, the award ceremony is really the celebration that the foundation does in Lisbon by the Tagus River, where the Tagus opens to the Atlantic Ocean. And the award has a dual focus. This scene that I'm showing you here is a scene that is very common in Africa, unfortunately, but it's not so far from many of our countries, even just a few decades ago. What you see here is two blind men, and guiding them, you have a young child that can navigate the world for them. And this child will not go to school. This child will dedicate his life to do this, because these people cannot navigate the world without this help. And so we thought that the award needed to have these two fronts. The first of them is scientific research. Breakthroughs in basic, in preclinical and clinical vision and ophthalmology research anywhere. The eyes are the window to the brain. A lot of the research that we do in understanding visual processing, in understanding ophthalmology, in treating disease is based on the visual system. And so one year the award focuses on scientific research, and the next it focuses on solutions on the ground in developing regions, solutions that are organizations that are working on solutions that are sustainable, that are amplifiable, that are replicable in different areas in the world. So the award has this double character, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But the objective is really to look at vision, to look at blindness in two different areas, the lab and the ground. So really, it's very much what the foundation wants to do, fostering the best science anywhere in the world, but then making sure that we take it, that we take medicine, that we take care to where it's most needed. And that's really how the award started, and how the foundation's board and the jury structured this award. So it has this dual focus. It then also has a few other characteristics that make it different. It's a large focused investment, so it's 1 million euros. So it is one of the largest science prizes in the world, and it is the largest prize for vision and ophthalmology. It recognizes research groups and teams, or it recognizes organizations. So it really recognizes and hopes to foster collective group efforts rather than just single individual prestige. And that's also one thing that makes this award different. And finally, the award is to be used in any way that furthers the contributions of the laureates. So it's not a personal award, it's an award to be spent. It's not a grant, because a grant has a grant proposal. It is based on the achievements of those that are recognized, but it is so that they can use this large sum of money to really do bold, sometimes risky projects that will have the highest impact possible. The award has other characteristics that have to do with the way we created it. We are set on global collaboration, and we started by supporting the WHO, an international agency for the prevention of blindness initiative called Vision 2020, the right to sight. We try to have far-reaching nomination networks. The foundation is quite young. We started in 2005. The award starts in 2007. So it's difficult for people to get to know who we are. And now it's not difficult anymore. But in the beginning, it was. So we really worked with the Association for Research in Vision Ophthalmology, the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, and several other international networks to nominate the best candidates possible. So we can really stimulate people, regardless of whether they get the award, so that we stimulate their work. And then it's, of course, a double international celebration. The laureates receive the award in Lisbon, usually in September. But then in April, May, 9 months later, they will actually give a lecture, and they will give it at the ARVO annual meeting. They will give a lecture in a meeting that has many thousands of people from all over the world dedicated to research in vision and ophthalmology. And they do that regardless of whether they have been recognized for research or for work in low and middle income countries, okay? How do we do this, given that the award is so diverse? And how do we make sure we identify the best people? The jury panel is in itself quite diverse and works together. Alfred Sommer, Dean Emeritus of the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, ophthalmologist and epidemiologist, José Cunha Vaz, a research ophthalmologist, developed much research on the brain, on the retina blood barrier. Paul Sieving, former president of the National Eye Institute in the United States. Gulapalli N. Rao, who heads the LV Prasad Eye Institute in India. They are really world leaders in ophthalmology, vision research, and global public health. We then ally to them outstanding researchers, outstanding scientists, many of them dedicated to fundamental research in the biomedical sciences. Among them, you have Susumu Tonegawa, Nobel laureate in physiology and medicine, did much research in immunology, and now is dedicated to neuroscience, including visual neuroscience. Joshua Sains, head of Harvard Neurobiology, Mark Baer, the head of the Picower Institute at MIT, and Carla Schatz, who heads the BioX at Stanford. Allied to them, you now have, we started with four, you have Jacques, we had until he is unfortunately recently deceased, Jacques Delors, who participated quite actively in the first years of the award, former president of the European Commission and a great internationalist. Very active participation of Nobel laureate in economics, who has worked a lot in development and in poverty, Amartya Sen. Graça Machel, who heads one of the largest foundations in Africa. She is also the widow of Nelson Mandela. She's in Mozambique and South Africa. And until 2016, when he took the difficult job of Secretary General of the United Nations, António Guterres was also a very active member of the jury. And this jury makes decisions together. It's not like the scientists decide the science award and the internationalists and development specialists and the global public health specialists decide the work on the ground. They have to work together to explain to each other the candidates and to reach a final decision every year. The president of the foundation here, Leonor Beleza, with Al Sommer, president of the award, here at the Arvo lecture, the members of the jury always listening carefully to each other and here all together. You see here Amartya Sen, Paul Sieving, and Al Sommer with Susumu Tonagawa on the background. On the background here, Paul Sieving with Leonor Beleza again, and Al always taking the lead and sharing this amazing group, really. We met with the Secretary General in 2022, and we are also happy, even if coming late, as Dr. Carvalho mentions, that the member states of the United Nations have come together to agree in the first General Assembly resolution on vision, and we hope that countries take this, and I know IAPB works very seriously around this and around getting these decisions together. As we know, vision loss in the world is still a very significant problem, and I'm showing you here data from the IAPB Vision Atlas in 2021. We may be seeing some more recent later on today, and it's not getting easier because as population is also increasing, and as we are getting older as a population, the problem of blindness and visual impairment is getting bigger. We started the award in 2006 in several different places. One of them was at the Presidential Palace in Delhi. President Kalam, who was a scientist himself, welcomed the initiative. India still is the country with the most blind people in the world. Of course, it's one of the countries with the most people in the world. And that's how we launched the Vision Award. Very importantly, we really do our best to do evidence-based work and to really make sure we reach the world globally with no distinction, but that we really do find candidates from the most affected areas. We see here data from 2010 and then here data from 2020 from the IAPB Vision Atlas. And I want to thank the IAPB for putting this atlas together because it really is an impactful initiative. And it's difficult to reach these areas of the world. It's difficult to go beyond the end of the road in Africa and to find great candidates for the award. We've been investing a lot in it. You see here, candidates and supporting letter writers. They stay in the roster for 3 years. And so they're cumulative so that we don't distract organizations that are working on the ground with a lot of paperwork. You know, some of you might know nominations for some global agencies sometimes are so complex that you have to hire a consultant for them. We really want to do it differently, and so we work to make it supple but very evidence-based and to get the data that we need. And so the award goes from odd years to even years. In odd years, we have blindness prevention in the field. We have the fight against blindness. And from 2007, and the Aravind Eye Care System has already been mentioned here. Here you have Dr. Nam, which unfortunately left us this year, receiving the award from the President of Portugal, who gives it every year in the ceremony. Helen Keller International, the African program for onchocerciasis control. And here, Uche Amaziko, who was a fantastic leader of this program that was on the verge of eliminating river blindness in Africa. Unfortunately, the disease has spread again, but Uche got a standing ovation at Arvo. I haven't seen a standing ovation since, and it was really a pleasure to see that. 4 organizations in a country with lots of geographic challenges in Nepal that have really changed the face of eye care in Nepal. One of them, with Sanduk Ruit, who was a long-standing collaborator of Fred Hollows himself. The Kilimanjaro communities, the Kilimanjaro Center for Community Ophthalmology, SIVA and SIVA Canada, working together to reduce poverty, to achieve universal eye coverage, in particular for their work in Africa. And here, their very interesting panel that they set at Arvo. Then 2 organizations that you know well, Sight Savers and CBM, Christopher Blind Mission. They got the 2017 award. This is the award ceremony in Lisbon. And a few slides to show you, we only have had 1 year the award for Latin America. Hopefully there will be many others to come. This year, the award was given to 3 organizations, to the Instituto da Visão, IPEPO, led by Rubens Belfort. And you see them at work here, both in São Paulo and then across the Amazon, where they make use also of military ships, and they go and using telemedicine and very carefully organized cataract surgical services. They reach these people beyond the end of the road. You can't really take mobile units on roads. You have to do it through the Amazon. The Altino Ventura Foundation, who does have several mobile units and works in Recife, in the north of Brazil. And finally, the Unicamp Ophthalmology Service, which really has been, you see here, Newton Cara Jose, I believe in a picture from the 70s. And this was, they really developed the first cataract-free zone project in Latin America. And they have an extremely busy service, reaching people in the rural areas and also providing very high grade of not just ophthalmology services, but also research. And this was our 1 prize for Latin America. In 2021 and 2022, there was no prize. In 2023, in September, you see here the St. John of Jerusalem Eye Hospital Group. The St. John of Jerusalem Eye Hospital Group received the award here in the presence of both the Israeli ambassador and the representative from the Palestinian Authority in Lisbon for their work in the West Bank, in Gaza and East Jerusalem, work that is given with no regard to ethnicity, religion, social class, or ability to pay. And they have several mobile units, several clinics, in different areas here. They are the oldest standing ophthalmology hospital in the Middle East, and you see several years here. That has been working non-stop until today. And of course, since October 2023, in particularly challenging conditions. And now this year, just in September, Lions Club International Foundation, the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, and the Fred Hollows Foundation received the award together for their contribution at scale to this global effort to eliminate avoidable blindness and visual impairment. Lions Club, with its grassroots movement, and you see here Fabricio Oliveira, the current president chairman of Lions Club International Foundation, with this grassroots movement that really moves millions of people and really reaches millions of people across the world, not just in direct care, but financing different projects. IAPB, and it's difficult to find a good picture to illustrate the range of IAPB work, which is really, they work as a convener. And they have over 250 member organizations, and they work with strategic advocacy, policy guidance, capacity building partnerships, more than delivering services themselves. But they are, and I know this is the reason we are together today, they are also the promoters of the World Sight Day. And then finally, the Fred Hollows Foundation. And here you have Fred Hollows saying the good eye service is the right of everybody, not just the wealthy who can afford it. And Nicola Watkinson receiving the award in Lisbon up here for their outstanding work that we have just also witnessed in the Fred Hollows New Zealand presentation. So really, there were three organizations with very different approaches, but that together really have changed the view of global eye care and given sight to millions. So these are the organizations that got the award this year. They're very global organizations. We also want to focus on smaller organizations working locally in different countries. So it goes from one to the other. And now just to finish, and I will go quicker, these have been the scientific awards that have really gone from understanding the basic mechanisms of vision transduction at the photoreceptor level, both the electrophysiological and the biochemical mechanisms, to really understand visual perception in the brain. How does visual perception occur? And to technology development like OCT, which is a relatively recent but definitely revolutionizing introduction in eye care, and adaptive optics, with a group of 5 people from MIT or working at MIT to develop OCT, and then David Williams working to develop adaptive optics, to development of anti-angiogenic therapy for retinal disease, be it age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. And the group really that has, from the person who identified the molecule to those that drove the experiments and that took this treatment to patients. And it certainly is a sight-saving treatment for the most common cause of blindness in higher income and developed countries. Then going back to how development happens, how the formation of connections between the eye and the brain happen during development, to the first gene therapy approved for human use, which was for Leber's congenital amaurosis, a blindness that is now, thanks to this research, avoidable to those that have access to the treatment, and hopefully more and more people will have access to this, and more gene therapies are fortunately showing up for different conditions, namely genetic conditions affecting the eye. Then, of course, for those working in an anterior segment, we could not have the treatment of corneal disease, and DMEC, DSEC, the techniques that revolutionized the surgical treatment of corneal disease, and then by Garrett Meleis, and then Klaes Dolman, who got the award, I have to say, aged 100. And the award can only be given to active groups. So had he not been very active, he would have not been able to get the award. And I have to say, he has been one of the laureates that really has made sure that he pushed for how the funding was used in order to really develop further this corneal prosthesis that he developed in Boston, but to make sure that it works anywhere in the world to the people that most need it. And finally, last year, something very different, which is how is it that our brain recognizes faces? And it's a very important aspect of vision, because vision is seeing, and seeing is interpreting. And so the neural mechanisms of face recognition, we are beginning to understand them thanks to these 4 researchers that are now at 4 different universities in the United States, but have collaborated and competed very healthily in the past 15 years to really elucidate how we do this. We see here Marge Livingstone and Winrich Freiwald at our tunnel at the foundation. And you see here the António Champalimaud Vision Award. This was this year's foundation. I just want to finalize saying that one thing is the impact of the award that we hope is great, and we hope that I've shown this to you today. But many times the impact that the foundation and the Vision Award has had goes well beyond the laureates. There's only one award a year, and it alternates. And it's many times doing things like what we're doing today. It's reaching out. It's being able to speak across borders, and many times putting different people in touch that help each other. And we really have tried to do this. We've worked together with ARVO as the host of research program, developing country research fellows, and really supported more and more work from different areas of the world. You're just seeing the beautiful ceremony that really happens in Lisbon every year. And I cannot finish without showing you our call for nominations that is now open. Next year, the award will be for research. And so it will be for active research groups involved in basic or clinical research that has led to a major breakthrough, either in the understanding of vision or in the preservation of vision, meaning treating visual impairment and fighting blindness. And so this €1 million award will then be able to be used in many different ways. And we're receiving nominations. You can find them in our website. And I'm counting on you, those here now at the time of recording, and those that may be seeing this presentation later on, to really identify those groups that you feel are making most of a difference, both on the ground and in developing science, so that we can continue not just to fund them with a €1 million, which is significant, but many, many more are needed, but also to recognize them so many others will support them further. Thank you so much, Dr. Ornelas. I hope I didn't extend my time, and thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. Your microphone is...
Thank you so much, Andre. This is very stimulating and motivating, and we will make sure that we reach out with your message and your stimulus, so that we all feel part of the community working for that very sad image. My heavens, the little child. My God, there's so much to be done. And thank you so much for the warmth and the heart behind it. And to round up our strategies and the exploration of the challenges facing us, we have precisely the chair for Latin America of the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness. Now, Doctora Valeria Sanchez Huerta has taken Latin America, or the IAPB to Latin America, has brought it and is now heading the big challenges facing us here on this side of the world. Doctora Valeria, of course, is an ophthalmologist specialized in cornea, with special training in administration and finance, and she is the head of APEC, which is one of the main hospitals and associations to avoid blindness in Mexico. So welcome, Valeria. Thank you so much for being with us. You will be talking about the First World Summit for Visual Health, and I'm sure what we're doing here in Mexico. Thank you.